So what I'm doing now, I am mixing some of my original soil with some Miracle Grow in-ground soil. I'll show you what I've got. It's for in-ground use. And so it does have fertilizer already mixed in, and it helps to fertilize your plants without you having to do it. And I'm glad I have it because I forgot to go get some bulb fertilizer before I planted them. So anyway, this is take 2, like we said earlier, for the planting of my Gladiolus corms. But what I'm going to do now, I'm going to mix my soil. So that when I cover my corms, I will have a little bit of the original soil, and I will have some good, airy fertilizer impregnated soil mixed all together. This is going to help in the long run for me to be able to get this area made into a flower bed, which looks like it's probably going to take me about 10 years to do. Especially trying to get all the weeds out of the area, but you do what you can do, little by little. Don't try to change it all at once. Do what you can do, and if you can get a little bit of the weeds away, then you get a little bit of the weeds away today. Some of my 100 Gladiolus corms that I bought from Dutch Bulbs. Say that 3 times fast. DutchBulbs.com. I just got a catalog from them in the mail, and I was like, oh, how awesome. And then so I just got on their website, and I really did like their price points, and you can buy larger quantities of bulbs and tubers at very good prices, instead of some places you get like 12 bulbs for like $25. I think I got these, I think it was 100 bulbs for $19. And what I ended up getting was a Gladiolus mix. So I don't know exactly what color they're going to be. So when they come up, they're all going to be different colors. I am looking to see, some of them are lighter and some of them are red. I do not know if that means that they're different varieties or just different stages of storage. No clue. So what I'm trying to do is, when I put them in the ground, I'm trying to choose the ones that are yellow, put the yellow ones together, and then put the red ones together. Who knows? We'll see when they come up if we have the same colors or not. Okay, so what you need to know about your Gladiolus bulbs or corms. These are 1-inch corms, and so when you measure them, and you measure 1 inch, you're going to multiply that by 3, and that is the depth that you are going to plant your bulbs at. So this is 1 inch, I multiplied it by 3, so 3 inches. I am going to plant this 3 inches deep. One thing I do need to remember is, if I am going to put mulch on top of my flower bed, or the area where I am planting my bulbs, or if I'm going to put compost on top of that to just make the area look pretty and give it extra nutrients, you have to add those, the height of that to how deep you plant your bulbs. So if you're going to add 2 inches of mulch, then you need to only go down and plant your bulb 1 inch deep in the soil, because that you're planting. Right now, I am not putting any kind of mulch on this area here. On my other bed, I will be mulching it, so I didn't plant them quite so deep. But on these, I'm going to go ahead and plant them 3 inches deep. The instructions also say to plant them 4 to 6 inches apart. I'm not going to do that because I really want my gladiolus to kind of help each other to stand up, and I want it to be like a clump of flowers. I don't want it to be like a flower, a flower, a flower, a flower. I want it to be in a little clump, and I just want it to be straight up and lots of color. So that's how I'm going to plant mine. So we'll see how that works. If it doesn't work like very well this year and I think that they're too crowded, I can always dig them back up in the fall and then replant them a different way next spring. One thing right here in my climate, I don't have to worry about pulling or digging up my bulbs in the fall because we have such a mild climate here. So I can leave mine in the ground. Our ground does not freeze. We barely sometimes get down to maybe 10 degrees. If that, maybe sometimes I don't even think we get that cold. My scabiosis, even when we had the 12 to 15 inches of snow this past winter, my scabiosis still had purple flowers on them just because we were like in the 60s or 70s before that snowstorm came. So even with that, my scabiosis are coming back, everything out. I have volunteer sunflowers coming out everywhere from where I had sunflowers planted last year. So I don't really have to worry about digging up my gladiolus. But if you live in a climate where your ground freezes or you get very cold, you'll want to dig up your gladiolus and store them over the winter. You don't want to spend all the money on your pretty bulbs and your pretty flowers and then forget to get them out of the ground. If you live in a mild climate like I do, you can also put extra mulch on them in the fall, and that will give them more of a blanket of warmth from the elements. But definitely if you were in a cold climate and your plants usually take a hit, I would definitely lift your bulbs and bring them out in the fall and store them over winter, and then plant them back out in your garden in spring. So what I'm going to go ahead and do now, I've got my soil mixed with I usually do it about half and half. I put the original soil that I dig up and then mix it with some soil that has amendments in it. It helps to aerate that soil, add the extra fertilizer in there, and gives your flowers and your plants an extra jump start. Since we also have clay soil, and I know that I have clay soil, ours is like clay and sandy loamy, because we have done a soil testing. Our pH is 5. We are low in calcium in our ground, so I know that adding the garden gypsum, which is a calcium amendment, is needed in our area. That garden gypsum also has a benefit to clay soil, as it helps to break down the clay soil so it won't be so compact. So everywhere that I put a plant in on our property, I put a little bit of garden gypsum down at the bottom. So you can see me planting my orchard or planting my blueberry, raspberry and blackberry patch. I put the garden gypsum down. I put it underneath the solar panels with the hostas. So if you have clay soil, that's a good thing to invest in. So right now I'm going to go ahead and get my corms ready, and yes, I know there is all kinds of weeds. I'm not going to worry about those weeds right now. I'm going to get my corms in the ground, and then later on after I kind of have an idea of what I want to do with this area, I'll start to weed and then I will put some preen down. But I went through and just dabbed sunflower seeds across this fence row also. And if I put my preen down now, it would not allow those sunflower seeds to germinate. So I'm just gonna deal with the weeds. I can do that, you know, it's okay, no big deal. I'm just gonna go ahead and get my gladiolus in the ground. Let me see, can you see where I'm at? Do this back, maybe you can see that better. Now these holes look bad because I've dug them several hours ago so that I could film this when it became overcast day. And the sun's kind of going down a little bit because it was really super bright this morning. And so it looks bad and the soil is dried out, but I'm going to water them in. So the first thing I'm going to do is just kind of break up some of the clumps at the bottom. See if you can see them. And this is dry because it's been extremely windy today. And you probably can hear the wind on my phone. I'm sorry, I apologize for that, but I can't do anything about that right now. That's just the way it is. Okay, so I'm gonna get my garden gypsum, which I'm probably gonna have to order another bag. And I do have to order it online because everywhere I went in my local town, nobody had it. And some of these places I was thinking, I'm sure you'll have it. No. Some of the bigger plant centers and nurseries, they didn't have them. The local big box stores, they didn't have it, so I had to order it online. So I've got that mixed in really well. I'm going to use my handy dandy ruler, and I'm just going to make sure that I'm at 3 inches, and I can eyeball that, and that looks almost perfect. Yes, okay. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put just a really thin layer of this soil mixture that I made up on my own in the bottom, because that is going to have a little bit of the slower release fertilizer in there, and it's going to keep my corms from setting right on top of the garden gypsum, even though I mixed it up. And if you look right here, I have a little hole. I just kind of want to move that out because I don't want any air pockets. And see, look at this. The weeds come out just right on top. So that's why I'm really not worried about my weeds, because they just pull right out like that. I've been doing that most of the morning underneath the solar panels by my hostas, and my arms are killing me. But they just pull right out. I'm really not worried about that. Okay, so we've got that down there. So let's pick, I think I can probably do 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I'm gonna do 4 in this one too. And so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna get 4 red ones. That one looks like it might be got a little bad spot on it. So I'll plump that one in the middle, just in case it doesn't decide to go. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, think of these as a Hershey kiss. So your pointy part is the flag of the Hershey kiss with the little Hershey sign on it, and then your flat part on the bottom is where the roots are going to come out. Let you see that, and then there's the Hershey kiss on top. See that? So you have to flip that way a little bit. So you're going to plant it like it's a Hershey kiss and just send it right down. So there's my Hershey kiss. I've got my 4 corms. Yeah, let me lift over here in the ground. Let me show you. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then that one in the center was the one that we had that iffy spot on, so I don't know if it is going to decide to bloom or not, so we'll just put that one in there. So now after I've got my gladiolus in the ground, I'm going to take some more of the mixture, the soil mixture that I made, and put that on top. I'm not going to use this, I'm just going to leave that over there and just leave it there. Lightly put that on top. Make sure that I've got it mixed up, and I think I told you I mix it about 50-50. And I did this same process when we put in our orchard with the 50-50 mix of original soil, and then I added soil for trees and shrubs. So we're just going to cross our hands and hope that I didn't wait too long to get these in the ground. There's about, you usually put them in about 2 weeks prior to your last frost date, which I probably could have put them in the first part of April, the end of March, but I just didn't get the time to do it. I got a little busy. So let's cross our fingers that I didn't wait too long. Okay, so can you see it right there? That's how I plant my gladiola bulbs. So guys, after take 2 for trying to show you how to plant gladiola bulbs, I think I'm finally done. I am going to put the video of me trying to plant the gladiola corms this morning and the rainstorm, and right before the rainstorm, and when the wind was blowing and it knocked my camera down and everything. So that will just be a blooper at the end that you can laugh at. It was quite hilarious actually, and thanks for joining me today guys, and make what you have beautiful. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. So my bulbs. Yes, guys, I've got to hurry. Yes, my phone just tipped over. Let me give you a view of the sky. Okay, I think this might be the only one I might be able to plant for a while. But let me go ahead and finish this up.